Hi everyone, this is EstaRa with a message for you. Today is Monday, October 2nd, 2017. Wow, wow, wow is what I want to say. Um, so a lot has happened since my last video, and I want to apologize for the delay in getting another video out to you. But honestly, I've been honoring me, which I'm really tremendously grateful for that I'm doing that, because one of the things that I've found on my journey over the years that I've been working with people and helping people and doing healing and sessions of clearing and stuff, one of the things I do is I tend to give to everyone else, and then I neglect me, and then I get really tired, depleted, and weak. So instead of doing that, so that I could be better service to myself, to my union, and to you, I've been listening to what my body needs and listening to what my spirit needs, and honoring that. So thank you for understanding that. I hope it helps. What has happened since we last met, if you will? I did get to hear from my twin. It was a really incredible, interesting conversation that happened, and I saw my twin. It was amazing, unbelievable, magical. It transcended time and space at that moment. So I'm still having a difficult time. It's been a couple weeks. I'm having a difficult time putting into words what happened, what it felt like. It was just different than any time I've ever seen him before. And if you've been following me, the last time I saw him was about a year ago. He is just a beautiful soul, as we all know he has to be, because I'm in love with him. But he is a beautiful soul, despite that. The fact that I'm in love with him, or besides the fact that I'm in love with him. Maybe me being in love with him makes it even better. Oh my gosh, so it happened really fast. His behavior was completely different than it had been. It was the most gentle, loving, soft, sweet communication that we had in a very long time, years really, or at all. But seeing him, it was incredible. Like it did something to both of us. And one of the things that I did when we were together was I placed my forehead on his. So we obviously merge at the third eye, like in a physical sense. We've merged there before on a higher dimensional level, but on the physical we did. And I have to tell you, I didn't realize I did that. I initiated that, and I initiated it 3 times without recognizing that's what I was doing. But while I was in that space with him, I was like, holy crap, I'm on his third eye. And I was like, oh, wait, align us now. And so I think it was happening without me consciously saying it. But I think me saying it like brought me into that consciousness of it, if you will. And it created this energy between us that was, oh my God, it was so powerful, so amazing. So when I came home after that visit, I was completely ungrounded in all kinds of high frequency energy. And if I could describe to you what I was experiencing and seeing, it's like really emotional for me. It's not a sad thing. It's a beautiful love thing. And I'm in a very different space right now. Just remembering that moment, I felt like one of my paintings that I've done a long time ago, and I'm going to try and post that painting inside this, the links in here in a comment perhaps, a painting that I did where we were just kind of merged, and like all this energy was floating around us, just flying around us. It was this beautiful energy. It was very rainbow energy, and it felt like that. It felt like we were just, the light between us was so immense, and it was so loving and beautiful that I don't know how to explain it. It's better than anything. So if you've been following me for a long time, then you know last year mine was like as high as a kite, crazy energy, like woo. And not that I wasn't at this time, but it's a different energy. So the next day, I did sleep that night. Not well, I can tell you that. I didn't sleep for a few days before and a few days after. And I think it's because this energy was building between us. And so the next day, I was extremely emotional, but in a loving way. Not like crying, not sad, not longing for him, and not even like, oh my God, we had a part. It was like a beautiful reconnection, if you will, and a beautiful merging. And I was high as a freaking kite. Like I had trouble grounding, and I can only imagine what was going through his mind, and in terms of like what was happening to his body and what was happening to him. So for me, I literally had to cancel clients the next day because I was totally not grounded, and I knew I couldn't do my work that way. I couldn't do my work adequately that day because I was in such a different space, and I really needed to integrate and allow that to come through me and allow me to feel like my energy was like changing and transforming. So when I saw him was 2 weeks ago, is what I said. I'm trying to find out what date that was. It was in September. And what was interesting is that it was on a date that when about 7 years ago, I had this amazing vision where I was marrying my beloved in a higher dimension. And when that happened, it was so cool. So the day that I saw him was the day that I actually had this awareness that we were going to come together in this lifetime. We had made the decision to be together and to go forward with one another. So it was like the same day of union, you know, in some ways. So it was very powerful for me and magical. And it took me about 2.5 to 3 days of integration for me to finally sleep and not be up all night like vibrating, because I was vibrating tremendously, and I'm sure he was too. And I just felt like the light exchange between us was beyond anything I ever had. And I feel like, it's funny, I'm doing this video and I feel so like, I don't know, high, but not high at the same time, in a very different energy. I don't know, it's different. So after that, it took a few days to integrate, and I was still floored and amazed by it. And then we had the Equinox energy come in, and something is different about me since I've seen him. I feel like my body feels different. I feel like there's more light in my body as a result of seeing him. And I feel like there was a really huge ascension piece that came in after seeing him. And he was different. Like, his energy was different. His love for me was different. And I say different, and I don't mean, when a lot of times people say different and they think bad or negative. I don't want to say that. That's not at all what I intend. That's not at all what I mean. When I say different, it was just a different experience, and it was like a higher level experience, but it was like a multi-dimensional experience. It wasn't just a 3D thing. It wasn't just a 5D thing. It was like multi-dimensional. Things were happening simultaneously. I guess that's the word. So forgive me for being at a loss for words. I thought I'd be clear today to do a video, but apparently I'm still kind of in a haze. So I've been in a very different frequency, very different energy since then. And I've been pulled away from a lot, to be quite honest with you. So one of the things I'm being told to share with you is the reason I pulled away a lot, and I've been pulled away, and I'm just beginning to feel like I can offer something, is that the integration was happening, and being pulled away was protecting my union and protecting our energies. So hopefully that makes sense to some of you or all of you. It was amazing, just amazing connection between us. And so anyway, right after that, we had the Equinox event come in, the energy of the Equinox. But then on the 23rd of September, if you're following me on Facebook, I did comment, I did share some updates, energy updates about what was happening and what to expect and what was going on. And on the 23rd, I held this is actually the first time I did a class at that point. I did a meditation on the beach here locally with people. And I have to tell you, the energy was so tremendous that I was definitely not in my body, but in a multidimensional way. It was very multidimensional. And I felt like all these portals opened up and all this energy potential showed up in all these different directions. And literally, I felt like I was gone off planet during most of the meditation. When I came back, everything looked different. And so did the people with me. They felt the same exact thing. And I ended up anchoring that energy with food that evening, like a heavy food meal. And it helped me, and I was able to sleep well. And the next day I was off to New York City doing a workshop with someone that I was helping with. And again, the energy was so wow. And so from the 23rd, with the massive amounts of energy that came in, I'm hoping you all felt it and experienced it and understand what I'm talking about. But this massive energy that was coming in on the 23rd came in 24 hours in a way that most people have no idea or have never experienced that kind of energy. And so one of the things that I had channeled prior to it was, please stay into your heart no matter what, because chaos is going to be revealed a little more. We have more curtains being pulled back, more energy shifting. We're having a different a different frequency going on the planet. There was like a massive influx of light for about 24-hour period. And if you were able to capture it during that time, it was really magnificent and helpful to each person. So that is a huge deal. So that combined with meeting with my twin and having all these experiences and talking with him, really just catapulted my energy. So like it almost cast me wide open. It actually felt like another layer of heart energy just opened to like this multidimensional gateway happened for me. And I'm so blessed and grateful to feel that. And I really believe he did too. I don't think he quite understands everything that happened, other than he really was happy to see me and really grateful to be with me. It was just powerful is what I want to say. That's all I want to say. It's like it was powerful. But the integration is so key. And what I'm getting told is that when you see your twin, by the way, this is the first time I saw my twin that I didn't like sob ridiculously thinking I was never going to see him again, or it's going to be a really long time, or oh my God, he's going to disappear. I didn't feel any of that, by the way. Instead, I felt like this is the beginning of something more. This is the beginning of our reconnection, like our true reconnection, our true union. And what that means, I really don't know. How it all looks, I really don't know. And what that's going to really turn out to look like in the physical is not even in my mindset, not even in my thoughts, because the truth is I need to be in that trusting space and just know that everything that's supposed to happen is going to happen. So I left knowing, having this full knowing inside of me that everything was different, that our connection was stronger than before. We've always had a strong connection, so I'm not disputing that, but it was a strength that came multidimensionally, not just like in a physical attraction or a pull. It was like every level of us was opening and connecting, and there was something assisting that to happen for both of us on both ends. And I actually feel for him, it was probably more unexpected than he thought or planned or whatever the words would be. I don't know. So that was like a huge deal and big energy shift and big energy thing, you know? So it was just magnificent is what I want to say. And okay, going back to rambling again, I apologize. You know I do that though. Going back to what I've been getting from my guides is that when you do see your twin, despite what happens, no matter what, even if it's like you see each other for a few minutes, you speak for just a couple minutes, rather than obsessing, as much as we all like to get in our heads and obsess about something, try to have the connection and then let it go and let it integrate within you. And if it means it's necessary not to tell anybody, I didn't tell anybody I was going to see him except for one friend, and I didn't share my story with anybody but one friend. And then as the time went on, I started to share a little bit more and a little bit more. So what I want you to know is there is this sacredness between you and your beloved. And it's best that you allow the integration, pull back from social media, pull back from mainstream for a little bit, and let yourself integrate in all these beautiful bubbles of love and this happiness energy and this DNA upgrade and this integration phase that happens after seeing your twin and being in your twin's presence. Now, what's interesting is I've always known that the connection between myself and my twin kicks off a whole healing thing for both of us. But I want to tell you, this was a completely different experience. It's a little bit more in depth than that. It's a little bit more, I want to say it's because he's more aware than previously. Like he's more in this open energy than he was previously. So that maybe that's why I'm feeling it that way. But I want you to know that we are at a place where Spirit is like, hey, I'm showing you and giving you all that you need to know. It's happening. Trust this. It's actually happening. So that brings me to the messages I want to provide for you today. So that was my little background of me and my beloved. I adore him. Adore, just so you know. And I actually tell him that I adore him. I don't think he knows what to quite do with that necessarily, but I think he gathers what that means. So what do I want to tell you? We're in a time where after the 23rd, that massive amount of light, what does it do? So when you think of your house in a corner, so I don't know about you, my corners are probably a little dusty and dingy, or like little fur bunnies, if you will, or like little dust balls. So when you shine a light on there, it reveals everything that's been hidden, okay? So it's the same thing with a massive amount of light coming into our planet for a 24-hour period, like massive amounts, that like the highest vibrational energy that's really been here ever. has opened up another light to the area of darkness. And so it's going to reveal things. Curtains are going to be pulled back and you're going to see things more clearly. Please recognize that and pay attention to the fact that that's what's happening. So what does that mean for humanity? Humanity is going to be in chaos. It's going to kick up stuff for people who aren't ready to cope with it, who aren't ready to deal with it, who aren't necessarily aware fully of it all, you know. And I'm actually going to bring up something I wrote on my Soul Star Healing fan page. If you are not on my fan page or you're not a member of that, please, by all means, check it out, because I do post little energy updates or, you know, quick messages that'll help you through the times that we're in. It may or may not help you, but I think it does. I think there's some helpful information, and I would highly recommend and let you know that it's worth, you know, it's worth us doing that. So let me find it, and I'll read that to you in just a moment. But I think the time that we're in is so imperative that we remain in our center beyond everything that we could possibly imagine. Because one of the things that we tend to do as humanity is we tend to like run away from what it is we need to do. Like we start to go there and it gets a little uncomfortable, we run the other way, or we start to distract ourselves with something else. And that's just normal, right? That's normal human behavior. However, we're really being guided to like push through everything and just do it. So I'm going to say to you, just do it for ha-has. I think that's important. So let me find this little thing I want to say to you. I will be pulling that up in just a moment, and we'll read that in a second. Okay, so one of the things that I find also going on is that the divine masculine particularly is going through, and again, you should all know this, divine masculine does not mean that you have to be a male. Divine masculine is literally going through massive transformation and upgrades and changes. So they're like on the fast track, if you will. So you can say, for example, for years they've been like snail pace. At least if you're my twin, you've been at snail pace. Now you're on a fast track. Things are happening much quicker, meaning the downloads are coming faster and quicker. Here's what I'm getting for a lot of the divine masculine. And by the way, everything that I've channeled thus far, message-wise to people and clients, I've been on. And I'm not saying that to have an egoic piece about it, but I've gotten a lot of very clear messages that I've given to all of you through video, but also through individual sessions. And it's been really accurate. And I've gotten confirmation after every time I've given a message. So after I left a video the last time, confirmation came in. And then all the things I've been picking up for a while now about the divine masculine, I've gotten confirmation from other divine masculines, and then also my own divine masculine, my twin. He's confirmed all the things that I was sensing and feeling. So it's telling me that that's in alignment with what's been happening. So why I'm telling you that is because I feel like, in case you're like, I don't know, I haven't heard from my twin, I don't really know what's going on, trust in some of the stuff I'm giving you. If it resonates, again, if it doesn't resonate, just throw it out the window, toss it, get rid of it. It's not necessary for you. But if it does resonate, I really ask you to like listen and let that be your guide, because I don't want you to give up. A lot's been happening. So what's been going on? For example, the divine masculine is going through lots of upgrades, fast, furious, and it's coming fast track to them. So what that means is kicking up all kinds of things, all kinds of behaviors, patterns, childhood stuff that's been festering for years but never really dealt with, never really looked at. That's what's surfacing in the reality. It's making them question a lot of things, not know where they belong in society, not understand where they are, not understand how it all looks in the grand scheme of things, but have a conscious awareness that something needs to change within them. They're also getting a very clear message about who you are to them. So if you know your twin, and even if you don't know your twin, they're getting clear messages that they're part of something greater than themselves, greater than what they have. And they're also getting the message that they are here for a reason. They're here for something more. And that this person, I can't stop thinking about this person, is in their awareness, if you will. They're beginning to recognize that this person is actually so much more to them. Now, that's all happening, but meanwhile, that's happening as they're starting to deal with like old childhood stuff that they didn't face and deal with. And a lot of the divine masculine has been programmed, and the divine feminine, please know that too, but have been programmed to not believe in themselves, not trust themselves. Like how often was it as you were a child that you would say something to your family and or teachers or something, and they just kind of dismiss it or poo-pooed it away, like that's not possible, that's not real. You had this great imagination, if you will, and they just kind of shoved it away. It's because they couldn't see it, so they taught you to only trust what you physically could see and tangibly touch or feel, rather than what you know to be truth inside of you. So your truth was right all along, but because you've been taught that from our society level, that you can only trust what you see, sense, or feel in terms of like physical. And if it's not there in the physical, then therefore it must not be truth. So you learn to negate that voice inside of you, and therefore you stop trusting you. So part of this whole journey as a twin flame is actually all about beginning to trust yourself. Trust what you know inside of you and go with it. I mean, how many of us have been tested, if you will, about this whole part of the journey of trusting ourselves? So when you think about that, like for example, one of the things that people ask me all the time, is he my twin? Is he my twin? And my guides will always say that I can't tell somebody whether they are twins or not. All I can do is guide them to their truth. Because here's the thing, part of the journey is trusting what you know inside of you, despite what it looks like on the outside. So in and of itself, the discovery of who is your twin flame is part of the lesson of trusting. So your twin is now going through that lesson as well. So they might recognize, like, I can't be without this person. I love them. I want to be with them. But internally, there's this questioning and doubting, because internally they're like, I know this is something real. But externally, it doesn't make any logical sense, because, you know, you guys been apart. They don't really know you. They know parts of you, but they don't know all of you. There might be like an ego reason, but they don't, whatever it is, they're like not trusting that voice because they had learned a long time ago that they couldn't, that it was unsafe to trust it, or didn't make sense to anybody around them, and they felt crazy. Which I'm sure you can identify with, because if you're the one that's been more on this path of the journey, and you've been more awakened on this path for a longer time, then you know exactly what I'm talking about in terms of being afraid of trusting that fully. And you're probably still navigating that for some of you, not all of us, but some of you probably are. So recognize that's what your twin is doing. So they're doubting and they're scared. What does that mean for you? Well, it's reverberating in your reality. So the divine feminine energy is typically receiving that into the reality and starting to deal with the fact that the doubt is coming up, like, oh my God, is this ever going to happen? What's going on here? I want to give up. There's times where you just want to be done. And honestly, I don't blame you, and I understand it, especially if you've been on the journey as long as I have. I've been on it for 12 years, and it makes you think, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like ridiculous, you know? Why am I waiting? Why can't I have blah, 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 blah? Why isn't this person? If they love me, then why aren't they here? That's old human stuff, right? If they love me, why aren't they here? That's a conditional thing. And I'm bringing that up because a lot of us don't understand the unconditional love part. Unconditional love means that you love them no matter what. That you would let them go if that was best for them. That as much as that would hurt the hell out of you, you would still let them go because you know that's what's best for them. And some of us have done that on this journey. We stepped away and allowed them to do what they needed to do, hence the separation at times. Like I've had a lot of separation where I felt like I needed to walk away so that person could do his thing and let him love himself and be in the situation he's in so that he can get to the next spot. That's unconditional love. Did I stop loving the person? No, absolutely not. I still love that person, and I love them unconditionally, so it's not like I'm taking that away from them. But if he loved me, he would do this. That's conditional. Please, please, please hear me when I say that. And I'm not saying each one of you do that all the time. I'm not even saying that each of you even do that. But if you actually listen to some of the thoughts that you might have, there is a conditional piece to it. And the reason I'm bringing that to your awareness is my guides are. They're throwing that at me right now. But they're telling me that there is a part of us that's learning to become deprogrammed from the conditions of conditional love. And as twin flames, our job is to teach the world about unconditional love. And gosh, what better way than being in this crazy thing we call twin flame journey. So the unconditional love part is key in this part of the journey. And what is happening is while your twin is going through what they're going through, please recognize that you can still love them even from this space, even if it hurts, even if it's uncomfortable, if it's difficult. But you don't have to subject yourself to like torture and pain, meaning if they're abusive or anything like that, then step away because you need to do that. You can't let yourself stay in something that's going to be detrimental to you. But on an emotional level, recognize what is being taught to you and recognize what is being truth to you. Because here's the thing. If you can close your eyes right now, go into your heart center and see your beloved and talk to them, which I recommend you do every day if you can spend like at least 2 minutes. I'm saying 2 minutes because I don't want you to spend more than that, because that pulls them away from what they need to do, pulls you away from what you need to do, and then you get lost in that meditation piece and you're not doing you. You're not doing your mission of being, because our job is to be here, right? We're meant to be on mission of being who we are. Being in that space of love assists them without really doing anything other than just being in love with them. And I don't even mean I'm in love with that person. I mean being in love, being in the energy of love. That's what I mean by that. And it's a lot easier said than done, especially during the times that we're in on our planet. So as of the 23rd of September, energy has come in fast and furious, and it is literally ripping open wounds, if you will, by showing us what is not taken care of, what needs to be changed. And so one thing I want to do is go back to what I was going to read to you. Just give me a moment to pull it up. So I'm just going to read a paragraph, but please check my Facebook at Soulstarhealing. And if you check it out, you might want to like it. I'd love if you like it and share my page. That'd be great. But honestly, I'd prefer that you just read the messages. I'd love for you to share it, but prefer you that get the messages and understand. So what I'm going to read to you is just a quick paragraph that keeps jumping in my head as I'm talking to you. If you notice what has happened since January, personally and particularly here in America, a massive awakening has taken place within all of humanity. Yes, it has happened. It is happened. It is not happening. It has happened. You may be wondering how that is fully possible. You may be asking that right now. Just because on the outside it doesn't look like many people are awake, please know that they are. Being awake creates two pathways: embracing the change and opening to the new, or clinging to the past and fearing the letting go of. If you notice, those are distinctly different ways to experience this awakening. Do you recognize where you fall? I'm stopping there. There's more to read. So when we think somebody's not awake, guess what? They're awake. It's just that's how they're addressing it, experiencing it, and coping with it. Just as that's how you may be addressing it, experiencing it, and coping with it. It's all happening the way we're capable of dealing with it right now. So those that are maybe resisting and struggling and holding on and clinging on, it's because the fear is being kicked up in them because things are changing and they don't have control over it. And the beautiful thing is it is changing, so that they can't run from it. It's happening. And those of us that are, getting ready to create the new and opening to the new energy, well, we're actually trying to go with the flow. And so we're kind of coasting and sliding. And one of my friends, clients said to me recently, why don't you just surf it rather than ride the wave? So I'm surfing it, if you will. So we're in that space of like, things are happening. It really is happening. We're in it right now. It's happening. And everything we want is already written. Everything we want to happen is already there. It's a matter of us like surfing into it, sliding into it, because we've been on a bumpy road. We've been a little bit scared, a little bit fearful, and because our twin isn't doing exactly what we want when we want it, that makes us question and doubt, because that's the humanness of it. But you're also picking up their reverberation of their doubting, not trusting what they feel. So for example, my twin feels what he feels for me, and he knows that's real, right? When he's in his heart, he knows that. But then immediately goes to his head and he's like, well, how could this be? This can't be real. This is not possible. Like, how could you love me? Like, why do you love me like that? And I wonder why sometimes that you love me. It's actually something he said. And I joked and I said, yeah, sometimes I wonder too, but the truth is I do. I love you. I'm not going to change that. It's just going to happen. It is what it is. It is the reality of it. And that questioning they have comes into your reality, and you start doubting the whole possibility of it happening and ever really transpiring and creating that happening. So all of that stuff has been kicking back and forth between the two of you. And my message to you, and the message that my guides always give, is stay you. Stay in you. Take care of you. Do what you need for you. If you feel like you are not loving your body because you're overweight or you're underweight, focus on how to make yourself feel better about your body, because what happens with that is you vibrate higher. Because when you're feeling bad about yourself, you're not liking something about you, guess what happens? You vibrate lower. And that makes it less attractive energetically. I'm not saying that you're less attractive or anything, because believe me, your twin is going to love you as you are, no matter what you look like. They're going to embrace you in any way that you are. But if you don't feel good about you, you vibrate lower and you're not vibrating high. And so if you're feeling like, for example, one of the things that had occurred to me is, I think I mentioned in a video previously, is I've had a lot of body stuff, a lot of neck. My neck is pretty icky right now. I've had a stenosis going on in my neck, a pretty moderate one, and they said it got worse. So I don't really know what that means because I haven't seen it yet. But that made me feel shameful. I felt like, oh my God, how can, I feel so bad about the fact that I can't do a lot of things I used to do. So that translates into fear for my experience with my beloved. So it lowers my vibration a little bit. Not okay. So I'm working on that, and I've worked on it. So I don't feel as bad about it. I'm actually feeling better about it. But it does weigh me down on a vibrational level. So I need to keep embodying love about my body. And I do. I say my body represents perfection. I'm vibrantly healthy. I love and accept myself where I am. All of that stuff is like important to do. And not just say it, not just like mouth the words and spout off what I'm saying. Actually feel that inside of me and go in a place where I can feel that inside of me. And sometimes it literally wreaks havoc in my system. It'll make me cry like crazy in a oh my God way, or cry like crazy in a like, oh my God, I do love me way. It's like this beautiful purging and healing that goes on when I embody that and embrace it, when I consciously do it. And many of us don't do that. A lot of us just answer because those are the words we've been taught or heard. But to be it is the key, as we all know. So I'm realizing what time it is. I'm rambling again. I hope to come back soon. I'm not going to promise anything because obviously that time it didn't happen. But I wish you all well. And please, please, please trust in who you are and always know who you are. Oh, my guides are telling me something. Okay, 2 things I need to let you know. First thing, Sunday, October 8th, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is New York time, I will be hosting a Twinflame meditation webinar. So it's a grouping of us coming together. We'll do a meditation, a guided meditation. We'll do some energy information that needs to come through. Okay, there's some energy work is going to happen, they're telling me. So please check the links below and sign up for that. I would love to meet with you in the ethers and speak with you on the phone or webinar. And then on the 10th, October 10th, 10/10, there is a energy body upgrade. And it's a very powerful one for Twin Flames. So if you're interested, please, by all means, do it. There's something with the 10/10 energy that has resonated with my soul for a very long time. I see 10/10 everywhere. There is a reason for that. And so please, by all means, come into that awareness for yourself. If you are interested in joining the upgrade, please join in. There'll be a link below for you. In that upgrade, please send me your name and your twin's name, and you'll both be included for that one price. And the reason being is that I want to make sure that we're getting your twin into upgrade as well. And so they're telling me it's not quite a love upgrade, it's more of a light infusion that's going to happen. So it's going to help clear you, but it's also going to help uplift you into your path a little more. So if you're having some struggles or blocks, that might assist you. So please check those in the links below. I totally forgot about that. I send you so much love and so much light and blessings for a beautiful union. And oh my gosh, just please don't get in fear. Trust, 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 trust. Namaste, my loves.